back in 2019, when you came back in 2019, it was I would assume a much more difficult return, just coming off the back, the hamstring and all that. You sort of feel like this is going to be an easier step back into playing?
Yeah, 2019. I probably should have been on the court, but I got anxious. I wanted to get out there and help us make a run, but I wasn't ready to play. And this is just a completely different type of injury where through the 4 weeks I was able to just do a lot, still work out, do a lot of things that I would do anyways, just without contact. So this last week has been good. Been in practice, full go, and tomorrow we'll give it a rip.
Do you feel like conditioning wise, like you said, you've been able to stay in decent condition during this 4 or 5 weeks?
Yeah, I say that now, and I'm sure in the first quarter I'll be feeling the heat. Because there's just nothing like playing a game and being in that game routine and game condition. So that'll eventually come. But I feel good. I feel like I'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Next up, we have Alex Simon with the Next, followed by Nick Hamilton.
Hi, Diana. For this injury to kind of be the freak injury that it is, how frustrating has it been to watch the team kind of continue to have all these post games? I imagine you just want to be like, oh, if I could get out there, that. I imagine that's been difficult to hold yourself back at times. Maybe I don't know if I'm.
Yeah. I mean, whenever you don't get to participate, just watching, it's frustrating. And I know how much work they put in. Coming to the gym every day and work, and to not see the results it's frustrating for not only for the whole team but individually. So getting back on the court just it puts your mind to rest a little bit, that you can help a little bit more proactively than just on the bench or in practice. So it'll be nice to be back out there.
When you first got the injury, Sandy mentioned to us that she had it before. I think the exact same fracture that you had, but played through it. How much has kind of her counsel just with this specific injury, let alone just in general, kind of been helpful for you throughout this month?
Yeah, it happened in game 2 at Connecticut, and I had obviously chest pain, and then we played 2 days later in Washington, and I felt pretty good. I actually felt really good until one play, and then it kind of bothered me again. And then the home game against Connecticut, I was pretty much fine. And then I got hit there, and the next morning I was having a hard time breathing, so I knew something was wrong. And then I think at that time we decided to get some pictures and show the fracture. But yeah, Sandy's been through it, so when you do get advice from someone that's had it, and you kind of go through the process, and you'll be okay. So I did the 4 weeks, and it's healing, and it's only going to get better.
Next up, we have Nick Hamilton with Nightcast Media, followed by Danny Thompson.
Hey, Diana. Are there any precautionary measures that you need to take, or any type of minutes restriction for this particular game with you coming back?
No, I think, obviously be smart as far as, playing time. I leave that to the coaches, whatever they think. I mean, they watch me practice all week, and I'll let them know how I feel, but there's no minute restrictions. And, I wouldn't be on the court if there was a high risk of re-injuring it, or, any chance of getting hurt again. It's a pretty, it's a spot where there's a lot of vital organs, underneath that bone plate. So, I wouldn't put my long-term health at risk for a game, basically.
And lastly, for me, when you look at this LA Sparks team, especially with Tia Cooper and the big win that they had over the Washington Mystics the other night, what do you see from this team defensively that poses a problem for you all?
I mean, they're a tough team. I think when you obviously talk about, Derek Fisher, who's, one of my favorite and toughest players that ever played basketball, his team is going to be exactly the same way. And I think just with, Brittany and Tia and, Wheeler and KT on the perimeter and Coffee, I mean, they have big, strong, athletic guards that, it makes the game tough. So we're going to have to do a good job of getting each other open, making sure when someone's open to get them the ball, because they're really good at closing out and scrambling. So they pose a lot of difficulties defensively.
Next up, we have Danny Thompson with 3-point conversion, followed by Ian Myers-Trisdale.
Diana, Danny Thompson with the 3-point conversion. Great to see you back. we all know how competitive you are. Your competitive nature is legendary. How do you separate yourself from being competitive and being smart when it comes to being on the court? Because we all know you don't want to come out of the game at all. It's your first game back. So how do you maintain that balance for yourself?
I hope I've learned some things over the years by playing for so long. And, I think you do have to listen to your body. There are times where you can just push through injuries and push through pain. And I've obviously, and people who've been in the game a long time have been able to do that. And then there's times where, it doesn't benefit you and it doesn't benefit the team. But I think right now I feel really, really good. And I always said, as long as I can help the team on the court, and might not always be 100%, but if you can help your team by just being on the court, I'm willing to do that. I really, I'm not too worried about how I look individually. If I'm helping the unit, I want to be out there.
And kind of piggybacking on that, it's 8 days off. You've been around the W in different professional leagues for a very, very long time. The W also playing across overseas. Do you prefer having 8 days off in the middle of the season to kind of like have another training camp, have extra time off and get your body right? Or you prefer kind of playing more games in a certain number of days?
It depends if we're playing well or playing like shit. I think this week came at a perfect time for our team collectively, and obviously for me, it gave me a whole week of preparation to going, into the stretch run, going to the Olympics. So, it kind of helped our team in two ways.
We'll go with the 4 final hands here. Next up, we have Myers Drysdale, followed by Scott Mimoser.
Hey, D.
Hey, Annie, how are you?
Good. While the time that you were on the bench sitting watching the team, what things did you see that from the Mercury as far as playing? And certainly you were not only a coach, but a cheerleader on the bench with the players. But what did you see that this is a team, even without you on the floor, that they needed to work on and improve?
I think sometimes when you're, when you're in a spot where things aren't going your way, whether it's shots, whether it's calls, whether, it's the rhythm of the game, it always comes down to the details of the game, to the things that are very boring for players. And those are the things that get you back on track, whether it's little things like getting open, setting a good screen, a simple box out, denying a pass to get your offense going in a different way. And I think those things, when you have consecutive games, and like I said, when things aren't rolling, that's when those things kind of get overlooked. So I think this week we made a point of emphasis to just getting back to the very simple details that'll help us, be organized and play a little bit better in stretches.
And what's the attitude of some of the players? Because you could see that there were times during some of the games that some of the players just didn't seem to have the confidence, whether they were missing shots and so forth, but that confidence feeling.
Yeah, I think that's something that, we're fine. And, I always say, it doesn't really matter if you make or miss a shot. Are you getting the right shots? Are you making the right basketball plays? And if you are, there are times when you can't buy a basket in this game. And we've seen that, from the NBA playoffs, from game to, our league. There are nights where it's just not your night. And can you figure out another way to win the game than just, making threes or playing offense? So I think we've verbalized that as a team to make sure you're impacting the game in a lot of different ways.
All right, 3 final questions here. Next up, we have Scott Mimoser, followed by Criso Saltis.
Hi, Diana. Hi. Sorry, I missed the national team call on Monday. Can you talk a little bit about the breakdown of the roster and how excited you are about playing with some of the younger players?
Yeah, I mean, picking the national team is never easy. I think in the 5 Olympics I've been a part of, it's always a difficult job for the committee. I think we always joke around, and other teams joke around, that we could probably put 2 or 3 teams out in the Olympics and be okay. So, it's always a tough decision. But, there's a lot of young talent. There's a lot of veterans. I think it's a great mix of players that complement each other. So I'm excited to get out there and start building chemistry and the things that we need to do to win.
Okay. Anybody specifically you're excited to play with?
Well, I mean, I got to play with Feast a little bit in the preparation for the last World Championships, and she's a player that I've always really enjoyed being around. So she's probably someone that it'll be fun to be on the court with.
Next up is Christos Saltis with Sports DNA in Greece, followed by Jeff Metcalf to round us out.
Hello, Diana. Good to see you back. I would like to ask you, for you personally, what it means to be able to play in the highest level at this point of your career and overtake every adversity, like injuries and stuff like this. What it means for you?
Yeah, injuries is it's definitely a part of sports. And it's been something that over the years I've had to deal with. And, you just, you get better at rehabbing, you get better at making sure you just concentrate on today. That's all really you can control. I think when you're younger, you can kind of get lost in a little bit of the noise, but as you get older, I think you can lean on that experience that, hopefully a month from now, I won't even remember being injured. So, and I still want to be on the court. I'm still willing to do the work. Whether I'm injured, whether it's the off season, whether it's in season, I'm going to put all the work in and hopefully it pays off in some way.
And also for you, every game and every practice until the Olympic Games is a kind of preparation to get back in your shape and win another gold medal in Tokyo.
Yeah, I mean, that's our ultimate goal. And we take that very serious. We have a lot of respect for, all the teams in the competition. We know how difficult it is. In the past, we've always had matchups and games that have presented a lot of difficulty. So we understand how important it is to take each day and really maximize it for preparation.
Final question comes from Jeff Metcalf.
For the Mercury to be 1-5 at home, that's never happened before. How essential, how much do you take that kind of personal to kind of turn this home record back around?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's something we've talked about, and we're a bit frustrated because we know how much the fans mean to this team, and they're paying their hard-earned money to come watch us play, and we just haven't played very well at home, and we hope to put out a better performance tomorrow and hopefully get a win, not only for ourselves but for our team and for the fans. Yeah, I mean, 1-5 is just not acceptable at home, especially with the crowd that we have and how much energy they give us. So it's something that we want to definitely turn around.
And one more thing, do you feel like coming back, you can kind of take some ball handling and playmaking pressure off of Sky? She's done a great job, but is that part of what you see your role, being coming back here?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I'll take a little bit of that pressure off her and, try to get her in more of an attacking role off the ball, which I think she's a little bit more comfortable at. But like you said, she's done a really good job of controlling the tempo and getting people involved, and at the same time being able to get in the lane and do the things that she's great at. So, we'll just figure it out. We'll play off each other like we did in the first couple games when we were rolling in the bubble. And, I think we understand, when it's time to kind of make that shift of, whether I bring it up or she brings it up, and we just talk through it, and it's usually not a big deal.
All right, thanks for the time, D.
No problem. Thank you, guys.